haven't heard you specifically react to is the Minnesota fraud that we've seen play out.
Well, it just doesn't get worse. I've reacted. It's almost not even believable. This very stupid, low IQ governor, he's a very stupid man because, I had a campaign against him with JD, and he's a stupid man, and he's a corrupt politician. And the Somalians are ripping off our country to the tune of, looks like $19 billion, but that's only what they can find.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for stopping around and choosing to hang out with your host, the Conservative Bird, and me, Double D. And guess what? You're on the Brick Road Podcast.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. And before we get into everything, please make sure to hit that like, hit that share, hit the subscribe, and smash the notification for us. It's the quick and easy and free way to help this channel grow as big as possible. So, Double D, it's crazy how within a year, you can be the Minnesota governor, run for vice president, lose that vice presidency, and now you're not running again because you're in the middle of one of the craziest fraud scandals in what I've known in modern times, at least. Like, this is insane, dude. So now, today, if you guys don't know, Tim Walz has officially dropped out for his third term as Minnesota governor.
And you know what, Bert? He just saved the Minnesota state legislature a whole lot of heartache because, honestly, they would have had to impeach him. I'm sure that by the time they got to the election, I don't even think he would have won, to be honest. Not now, not this time. He's too damaged. He's damaged goods. This guy is done forever. I still want to see him in handcuffs, though.
Yeah.
Tampon Timmy needs to pay his debt to society. I know he's part of it. There's no denying that he's definitely part of all of the fraud. Maybe not directly, but indirectly, he still ignored it. He still let it happen. I know he says that he was, we've been trying to stop the fraud. He hasn't tried anything. If that was true, it would have been stopped.
Right.
One young journalist, a 23-year-old kid, Nick Shirley, God bless you, by the way. Yeah. I love what you did there. But it took one 23-year-old kid to do what 10 years of Tampon Timmy's investigations couldn't. Yeah, that sounds to me like neglect. That doesn't sound like – it sounds to me like he knows what's up. And I got a good feeling that Elon Omar's part of it, too.
Crazy. You know what's funny, too, right? He goes on, he blames Nick Shirley, he blames Trump, he blames this, he blames that, instead of putting the blame on exactly where it needs to be, and that's himself. This is his problem. This isn't Trump's fault. This isn't Nick Shirley's fault. This is literally your fault. You let the scamming go on for so long, all the frauding go on for so long. You've allowed these illegals to come over and take over your country. Your state. You allowed all these Somalians to come over and take over your state, and now this is the repercussions of what was meant to happen. But it's funny how in this video we're about to watch, how he wants to blame Trump. Where is Trump to blame in what happened in your state?
I don't know how they could try to blame Trump anyway. I mean, Trump's not even the one that caught him. I mean, if I can understand why he's pointing the finger at Nick Shirley, but really, every time he points a finger at Nick Shirley or points a finger at Donald Trump, just remember there's three fingers pointing back at his little chubby ass.
That's true.
He knows he's guilty. We know he's guilty. He knows he's guilty, too.
I don't want to mince words here. Donald Trump and his allies in Washington and in St. Paul and online want to make our state a colder, meaner place. They want to poison our people against each other by attacking our neighbors. And ultimately, they want to take away much of what makes Minnesota the best place in the country to raise a family. They've already begun trying to withhold funds that were meant to help families afford child care. And they have no intention of stopping there. Make no mistake. We should be concerned about fraud in our state government. We cannot effectively deliver programs and services if we can't earn the public's trust. That's why over the past
he'll
few
never
years,
do that.
I 1000% agree. And nobody, guess what, Tampon Timmy?
Yeah.
Nobody trusts you. Not one person trusts you. Nobody trusts you. And this is the problem. This is exactly why you are dropping out of the race and you are done for. Your career is over with. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be behind bars eventually.
Oh, he will be in a year from now. There's no question. I mean, he might take he's going to take a plea bargain. He's dropping out of this race because he already knows the indictments from government are coming down.
It's true.
It'd just be it'd be less humiliating for it to happen with him not being in the race. Now, it's still going to be humiliating when they arrest him from the governor's mansion.
It's true.
So I hope he's smart enough to go home on the day they arrest him. But yeah, dude, of course he's blaming Trump. Of course he's blaming Nick Shirley. Of course he's blaming conservatives because he doesn't know how to, like every Democrat I know on this planet, dude, there's only one Democrat that accepts accountability, and that's John Fetterman, honestly. And then the ones who walked away from the Democrat Party. What was that guy's name from West Virginia again? Manchin?
Joe Manchin, who he was more of a moderate Democrat, old school moderate Democrat, and he realized the psychopathness going on with all the agenda pushing going on within that party. So yeah, John Fetterman 1000% walked away from it. Kind of similar to RFK Jr., similar to Tulsi Gabbard. They all walked away. No, not all of them went with Trump, but they did walk away though.
And I think, and I know you kind of accidentally said John Fetterman, you meant to say Joe Manchin, but honestly, I think John Fetterman is walking away from the Democratic Party too.
Yeah.
I think on his next round, he's probably going to run as an independent.
I would
They're going to try to primary him out, but honestly, they may not successfully primary him out either.
Yeah, I feel like
constituency may his constituency respect for him.
Yeah,
we just don't know yet.
Yeah, for sure. So
we
Trump,
know they don't. We know they don't. We know they don't in D.C. though.
Trump weighed in on Tim Walz and. We already know what he thinks of him.
The thing we haven't heard you specifically react to is the Minnesota fraud that we've seen play out.
Well, it just doesn't get worse. I've reacted. It's almost not even believable. This very stupid, low IQ governor, he's a very stupid man because, I had a campaign against him with JD. And he's a stupid man. And he's a corrupt politician. He's right. And the Somalians are ripping off our country to the tune of, looks like $19 billion, but that's only what they can find. So usually when you're looking at 19, that would mean it could be 50. But the numbers are astronomical. Think of it. They have a dead country. They don't have government. They don't have anything. They don't have a military. All they do is run around shooting people and trying to capture ships.
Yep.
We don't let them take ships anymore. You know why? We use the same exact missile on them that we use on the drug carriers. And it's very effective.
Very effective.
You notice there's nobody capturing ships anymore? Because as they head out to go capture the ship, and the ship doesn't want to fire back because it's very flammable stuff in many cases. And the insurance companies don't want, because they build $1 billion ship, and they don't want anybody firing rockets into the ship. But we're hitting them so hard, and it's very similar. Same missile system. It's called deadly accurate. And you notice that ships aren't being taken anymore. The pirates are. Right. I thought about the pirates aren't. Well, no. He's right. It's actually
he's telling the truth.
Head out. We say, guess what? There's pirates. Bing. That's the end of the pirates.
Bing. That's the end of the pirates.
The shipping business.
Bing. That's the end of the pirates. So with that being said, and everything that Trump just stated right there, right, and all of it's true. All of it's true. This is all true. How is any of this Trump's fault at all?
It's not. That's why it's so fucked, dude. It is so funny because Trump had nothing to do with them getting caught. If he did, they would have got caught in Trump's first term.
Exactly.
For over a decade. Trump didn't even know. Why? Because Tim Walz was hiding it.
Right.
I'm telling you, man, the indictments are coming for you, Timmy Walz. And we all know I don't like your fat ass, but I don't like it because you're a Democrat. But this is going to be entertainment at its finest, watching that pudgy little fucker get hauled off to jail. I'm sorry. I don't even like to use the F word, but His little fat ass is going to be hauled off, dude. He's just think that Shawshank scene when he was like, "I want my mommy, I want my mommy." That's going to be Tampon Timmy here in about 6 months.
Just coming back because see, these are little things that we're doing, and I'm doing it not just for American ships. I'm doing it worldwide because we don't want ships taken by Somalia pirates. But what they are doing is they're stealing money from the American taxpayer.
Yeah.
And every one of them should be forced to leave this country, including Ilhan
Absolutely.
Omar, who's a total crook. And she's one of the leaders
Send her
of it.
first.
Not the only, because she's not that smart. But think of it.
I would make Ilhan Omar the number one face of all of it. Oh, you're out of here. See you later, bitch. Bye bye.
She should be the poster child for the fraud.
$19 billion
Exactly.
At least they've stolen from Minnesota and from the United States. It's actually more from the United States because Minnesota puts in, and we're not going to pay it anymore. We're going to have Walz go pay. We're not going to pay them, and we're not going to pay California, and we're not going to pay Illinois with that big slob of a governor that they have that doesn't want. You know, we brought down crime by 25%. He didn't do anything. He's not doing anything. But they want us to leave. He had a day where they had 17 murders, not too long ago.
Sad.
17 murders and 77 people shot, but 17 died. And then he talks about, oh, we can handle it. He can't handle it. But we pull back, and we'll go in at the appropriate time. But we're the ones that brought the crime down. We brought it down 20%. They didn't bring it down. Pritzker didn't bring it down.
No, he's right.
Same thing
He's
with
telling the
terrorism.
truth. He's telling the
We didn't
truth.
go in to Los Angeles.
Right, and absolutely true, right? And mind you, how he acts like it's crazy how Nick Shirley got this whole MAGA conservative broadcaster label, but he's literally just an independent journalist who just goes
That's
out
all he
and
is.
does the journalism and literally just asks questions. He puts no favoritism towards anything. He just asks questions based on facts and reality.
Let me ask you a question, Bird. If Minnesota was a Republican state and it was run by Republicans and that fraud was going on, first question: do you think Nick Shirley would call them out if it was Republicans too?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah, because I've heard him call out Republicans in the past, not for something that's big.
Right.
Obviously, this is a big event, but I've heard him call out the Rhinos and the Republicans and even MAGA at other times.
Right.
Now, question number two:
Okay.
if this was going on and the Republicans were in charge of the state, do you honestly think it would even be happening in the first place? Because I don't.
Well,
Again,
I don't
that's
know
another
though,
idea.
because they're saying that it could be happening here in Ohio. I'm not 1,000% sure on it, but I heard about some stuff in Columbus, Ohio. I don't think it has nothing to do with us. With
Particular party.
right, it just has to do with corruption and period. No matter who it is,
So-
Republican, Democrat, and it could not even. Who knows what's really going on? You know, but I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's just what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right.
So, do you think that what's going on here in Ohio, then you think there's going to, because it's happening in Democrat cities and Democrat strongholds as far as here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a Republican governor who obviously has missed the boat on this one. So he's not running again because he can't, because we have term limits in Ohio. They don't have that in Minnesota.
That's true.
But we have term limits, so he can't run again. But you know what? I would be curious to know how many politicians are aware of what's taking place in Columbus. I guess we got to wait for those facts to come out a little bit. But
Right.
they're going to be out pretty soon, because I was watching something earlier today about the Columbus thing, and the FBI and the DHS they're there. I mean, they're out. They're all over. So whoever's in charge of that, what is that? That's FBI, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
And I know ICE and law enforcement
Right.
and other law enforcement can assist. I'm very aware of that. But the point being is, if it's taking place in Columbus too, it is a Democrat stronghold, but
Yeah.
we do have a Republican governor who lives in a mansion there who
Yeah.
should have known it was going on too. So
Exactly. So You know what's
So
the
we're calling
crazy?
him out too. We're calling the Republicans in Ohio out on it too.
So the craziest thing about all of this to me is the fact that Nick Shirley, who's nothing but a YouTuber, just literally makes content, goes out, gives his unbiased interviews and all that, has actually caught the attention of Tim Walz for him to call him a white supremacist.
You do.
Yeah,
But
he
Governor
sure
Tim
does.
Walz is pushing back on the investigations into the Somali community over the massive welfare fraud that's happened under his watch. Take a look at this.
Under
This is what
his
happens
watch.
when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
So it sounds to me, Nick, that Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis where they can go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen, and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset. And I totally understand why they're upset, because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them. He's actually working against them.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and that's
true.
That's
true statement.
This is exactly what is going on. This governor is not working for his people; he's working against his people, and that's the thing that people are failing to realize in this situation is that he is not doing what he's supposed to be doing as a governor. He is doing the opposite of what he's supposed to be doing. You can blame Trump, you can blame Nick Shirley, you can blame white supremacy, you can blame bigotry, you can blame racism, you can blame anything you want, but at the end of the day, this is all your fault.
That's right. It's on his watch, whether he likes it or not. And if that does turn out that there's a situation here in Ohio doing the same thing, that's under Governor,
Well, he's a rhino.
watch.
He's a rhino anyway, so he's no different than a Republican.
He's also a rhino that's supporting Dr. Amy Adkin for governor, who happens to be a Democrat, and he has not endorsed Vivek Ramaswamy. So what I want to know is he worried about Vivek uncovering some of this corruption, and maybe it leads to him? Maybe it leads to him. Dude.
Let's wait and see.
We're seeing right now with Tampon Timmy that the apples don't fall that far from the tree. So
that's true. That's very true. Let's wait and see. Hey, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see.
We'll wait and see.
All we got to do is vote for Vivek.
But I here's my prediction for Tampon Tim Walz, and my prediction for Tampon Timmy, he will be at least. I don't think he's ever going to prison, at least not more than just being booked and mugshotted and what have you.
Right.
But he is, I can tell you right now with full confidence, his political career is dead forever. He needs to go back to teaching social studies wherever the fuck it was he was teaching that. And I doubt he was really good at it because he doesn't seem to know the Constitution. But with that said, Tampon Timmy is finished. He is done. He belongs in a jail cell. I just don't think it'll happen. But if I'm wrong, that'll be a bonus.
Yeah, I agree. So I feel like we covered it. Let's just wait and see what happens. Hopefully all this gets taken care of. Everything, nothing gets swept under the rug. Everything gets brought to light and shown for face value.
Yeah, I just really, really hope justice. I don't like to, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't like to support jailing or imprisoning your political opponents, but when they're blatantly breaking the law,
this is different,
and stealing from the American people and the people of Minnesota, for fuck's sake, something has to be, enough's enough. That's what it comes down to. Enough is enough. So there needs to be consequences, and it needs to happen fast.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. They want us to trust government again, Tampon Timmy, then you need to go to prison, Tampon Timmy. That's the only way we're ever going to trust the system, is if they make an example out of one of them.
Exactly. So I feel like we covered it. We're going to end it on that note. I just want to thank God. I want to thank you, Double D, for doing this with me. I want to thank my family, my friends, and everybody that watches our videos. You guys make this possible for us.
Absolutely. I want to thank you, Bird, for making the show happen every other day and every week for us. Audience, as always, thank you for showing up. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being a part of this. We really appreciate it. Without you, we're nobodies. And most importantly, without God, none of us are anybody. So I would like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for allowing me to be here today to talk to y'all. And with that, good night, y'all. Stay free.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Peace.